Tonight, Commissioner Gordon's on a manhunt for his daughter.
And in the Danger Room, it's the Battle of the Furries.
What's that? The New 52 changed another classic character twice? Here on Between the Panels.
My Batgirl's back's gonna save my reputation. Hey nah, my Batgirl's back at the comic stand. So if you guys didn't hear, Batgirl's back, and she's out to save not just her reputation, but mine. I'm actually a much better singer. You have to stay tuned for the single album because it's really good, and I'll have it autographed for you at Comic-Con next year. So
Technically, you are in this comic, Ricky.
I am.
Batgirl's boyfriend, her Hispanic boyfriend.
All right, let's get right to it because Batgirl is here on Between the Panels at the comic stand. We're taking a look at issues 22 to 24 of the New 52 series by Gail Simone, and read the first 6 issues, wasn't really overly impressed. But
it's getting better.
It's gotten really good. It's a murder mystery wrapped in with a little bit of soap opera, not too much. And there's a crazy story arc going on. And what do you guys think? Let's just go.
Well, we should give them the backstory to what leads into this.
There are a lot of subplots.
Give us the backstory, Joe.
Pretty much what's going on is Batgirl is on the run. Barbara does not want to be Batgirl anymore because after the death of the family, her brother, James Gordon Jr., was going crazy. And he was kind of like in cahoots with the Joker at that point during Death of the Family. And in an act of self-defense to save her and her mother, she throws a batarang into James Jr.'s eye, spoiler alert, by the way, knocking him off of a pier, and he's dead. Although we as the audience don't know that he's dead or not. But in there, we think he's dead.
In comic book continuity, if you don't see a character's death in the panel, they're not dead.
And even if you see it, they're not dead. Like, that's just the way comics roll. But
anyway, continue.
Gordon's angry at this point, but he doesn't know that, number one, his son was evil. Number two, that Batgirl is his daughter. So he decides to call out a search party to find Batgirl and arrest her. And that's where this all picks up. Also, she has been seeing a former gang member named Ricky.
Also have to bring up Nightfall because that's a...
Oh yeah, Nightfall.
Yeah.
Not the story arc, Nightfall.
No.
Okay, so who wants to explain Nightfall?
Nightfall, she's a corrupt business leader who's, she wants to, I don't know, save the world by killing criminals. It's
I don't
like
think she wants to save the world. I think she just wants to murder
She wants to clean
people.
up the streets, I guess, but she's going about it the wrong way. She's a little too Punisher-esque for DC. We're clean. So that's where she's thinking right now. But she's going to be a major part later. Mir is in there, who was in the first story arc that I have.
Well, what happens specifically is that Gordon is investigating Batgirl. So he goes to the businesswoman. What's her name again?
A Nightfall.
Well,
I forget her real name.
Her real name. He goes
okay.
to Nightfall's real persona and asks her about Batgirl. And now Nightfall thinks that Gordon's actually onto her. So now Nightfall puts a hit out on Gordon while Gordon is trying to capture Batgirl, who's trying to capture Nightfall. And it's this weird...
And clear her own name.
And clear her name. It's this weird triangle of like conflicting...
Okay.
But let's start out. Issue 22. It's kind of... It feels good. Batgirl's going on a date with Ricky, and...
It was pretty slow at the beginning.
Yeah. Like, she stops some mugging and stuff, but they're having fun. She's starting to feel better about her brother's death. It's still in her mind, but then her father shows up and takes her to a gun range.
For those of you who haven't read Batgirl, anytime her internal thoughts appear on the panel, she's really messed up. Like, she's had a rough time. With the whole Killing Joke thing, she's come back from her spinal injury, which nobody knows how that...
Yeah, how does that happen?
Anyway, that's a sidetrack. So that's a whole nother conversation.
She doesn't like guns because she got shot by one.
Yes, exactly. But she's really messed up. She doesn't really have too much friends. Her only love interest she's had is Nightwing, so she doesn't really know. So she's dealing with all that. So it's kind of this emotional roller coaster in the first issue she's dealing with. She goes out with Ricky. She has a good time. Then it gets real depressing and sad at the end. But I was totally okay with 22. I dug 22.
And then we get a cameo from a certain Batman.
Let's discuss this in depth. So,
oh boy, was this cool.
Well, recently, Damian, Batman's son, has died. So Gordon calls Batman. They have this cool conversations. Not many words are spoken, but you can tell the tension's there.
I just like the line Batman says, "A father should never survive his son." And Gordon doesn't really know the context of this. He can't possibly know the context of that line. All he thinks is that Batman is trying to blindly console him.
And Batman knows he's talking about Batgirl too, and he knows Barbara. It's just
But Gordon actually punches Batman in the face and is like, "How dare you, whoever this girl is, you let her follow in your footsteps. This is your fault." Which then segues into part 1 of the manhunt.
Yeah. Well, now we'll just go into the manhunt. The manhunt, it's kind of continues that whole thing. It's like this murder mystery, CSI, but not really CSI, more comic booky. Same thing continues with that when we get Mirror and Nightfall come into play. And Gordon's really defeated. Yeah. So it's a really, really good, solid 3 issues. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved it. I wasn't crazy about Batgirl in the beginning, but it's awesome. Nick, what do you got?
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was into it, but it was a little too slow at parts for me.
I give it 5 out of 5. Strong female character right there.
Yes, I agree. Totally agree. With a strong female author as well, Gail Simone, it was great. We'll be right back on Between the Panels. When we come back, who would you make into a Pellet Pet?